Hi all, today we're going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 10 from Archie Comics. So, of course, this is not the original Eastman and Layer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was put out by Archie in the late 80s on through the 90s to capitalize on the cartoon and toy franchise, which was white hot at the time. And this is my first Ninja Turtles comic that I picked up, and I since followed it for a while, and also picked up some back issues from the beginning onward. This was more geared towards kids, but what I liked about this series was it was very in tune. It was more in tune with the Playmates toy line than the cartoon was. So on the cover here it says all new stories, and there's Scumbug and Worm. And of course, this comic came out. Really, it came out in February of 1990, and later that year, in March 30th, 1990, the Ninja Turtles movie came out, and this thing was super hyped up. At the time, we'd never really seen anything like it because these animatronic costumes were a sort of brand new concept. I mean, we'd seen things like this before, but not to this degree. And I remember there was some sort of write up. I live in Toronto, so I think it was the Toronto Sun had a write up of what the characters would look like. And it was crazy to us because they looked like the cartoons come to life. It was kind of astonishing. And so this was a big hit. It's also a great movie. It's probably one of the best comic book adaptations I've ever seen. A good adaptation of the original comics. So here we have a little worm that's in the sewers. We got Bebop and Rocksteady here dumping waste in there, and it's gonna mutate this little guy here. And here are the Ninja Turtles and Raphael. At this point, they drew him all black. He had a black suit, sort of like a black suit Spider-Man, and it was supposed to be this cool thing. I don't think they ever made a figure of that, but he had this suit for a bit in the comics. And here they're recounting past adventures. They used to go all over the place. There's a dude named Cuddly the Cowlick. They never made that into a figure, I don't think. That guy can like swallow you and then teleport you to another planet. He's real silly. This is Leatherneck. No, sorry, not Leatherneck. Leatherhead. And Leatherhead, he was a dude that was in the first few waves of the figures, and here he's on another planet, and he'd prefer to be there because he's a freak on Earth. And here's a Wingnut and Screwloose. You could barely see them here from a past adventure. They were made into figures as well. And so Splinter wants them to find where Krang and Shredder are now, and so they go off on this adventure. Meanwhile, Shredder is talking to Krang, and this exterminator comes in, and this guy is going to be Scumbug. And so here's Krang saying, there's some sort of MacGuffin I'm trying to look for. These adventures were very quick to read because, once again, they were for little kids. And even though I was probably like in my early teens or so when I bought this, I was probably 13 or so, I appreciated it anyways. I mean, I like the cartoon and toy line, so I picked this up whenever I could. There was just a little bit of fun, you know, and it didn't take itself too seriously. But I did long for maybe a more serious take on all this stuff, but I did like that it did incorporate all the toys that were coming out at the time, more so than the cartoon. And so here's Worm raising his head. Worm in the toy line didn't look that much like this. Like this guy, he was a bit more colorful than this. I just want to show you an ad here for the animation art for the original series. This is pretty cool because I don't remember these kinds of ads for other cartoons before this. I think by the time Ninja Turtles had come out, I think toy companies and cartoon producing companies had learned a lot of lessons from G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, where they burned brightly for a couple years and then faded. Ninja Turtles lasted about 10 years, the original, and then of course it's been iterated and reiterated and reiterated since then on a fairly regular basis. I think Ninja Turtles have been on TV continuously since 88, 89 when the original cartoon came out. And one of the things I think they thought was, we can make some money selling the cells. And so here is a full page ad in their own comic saying, if you want a catalog to look through and see what you want to buy, have at it. I think that's pretty awesome. Nothing else was doing this before Ninja Turtles. I don't remember ads for G.I. Joe and Transformer cells or He-Man cells in those comics. So here's Worm, all yellow. Of course, for the figure, they had to spruce him up a bit. Scumbug was my first figure. He's the figure is just awesome. Some of the stuff here is accurate, like the one hand is insect, the other hand's human. He's got the gas tank, and he had the figure had a gun and hoses connecting to the tank, and he came with I think it was 4 little orange cockroaches and stuff, and the jaw was movable and everything. The figure was awesome. And I appreciate them incorporating these characters into the comic books. And so Worm and Scumbug fight each other, and Worm wants to eat Scumbug, and so they fight for quite a bit here. A very minimum of dialogue. And the Ninja Turtles discovered that when they're fighting, they destroy an electrical sort of box, and there's methane gas, and so the turtles brace themselves for the inevitable explosion. Here's an ad for a professional wrestler manual, I guess. And I love it. Says, can you be the next Hulk Hogan or Sensational Sherry? I guess that was the state of the art back then in 1990. And it's got some people giving testimony this is a must if you want to be a wrestler, says Dominic DeNucci, and Mark Tendler. This has it all. I seriously doubt you can be a professional wrestler just from reading a book about it. But I mean, everyone says if you watch wrestling documentaries and stuff, just go to a place that teaches wrestling and get into it there. But yeah, I guess I don't know how many people ordered in for this thing, or how many of them have gone on to be professional wrestlers. And here's Explorers of the Unknown, Archie. Archie had a whole ton of comics, and some of them were sci-fi like that. Pretty neat. So yeah, here they explode and sort of disappear. The turtles don't know where they went. And then it teases with a bunch of rats, what's with all the rodents, and the next issue will be Rat King, which is a classic Ninja Turtles character. And here is, they know their audience, so 13-year-olds like me were probably into video games and stuff as well. So at the time, it was Sega Genesis, Master System as well. I mean, if you had it. The Lynx came out before Game Boy, and it was color, but it had just not really exciting games. TurboGrafx 16, which is super expensive, only rich kids had that. Atari was still kicking around, Nintendo, and this is all basically I guess it's back cartridges and stuff. I see Bubble Bobble is 37. These aren't bad prices because in stores when these games came out new, even back then in 1990, they were $60 to $80. They were really expensive, and these might be American prices. And here we have a WCW video game ad. This is before WCW became the WCW that a lot of people in the mainstream would know. WCW had been around for a long, long time, but I think when most people now think of WCW, they think of those Monday Night War WCW products, and this is just before that. I've never played this game. I'd like to see what it looks like on the net, but. And of course, here is an ad for the Ninja Turtles NES game. It came out around, I guess, 89 or so. Put out by the shell company Ultra, which was a Konami shell company. I mean, it was basically Konami, but Konami couldn't put out more than 5 games, I think, a year. Due to restrictions from Nintendo for all game companies, so as to prevent a glut that sort of killed the video game industry in the early 80s. So they developed a company called Ultra, where they could put out even more games through that company. I always loved the Ninja Turtles games. I know that as people got older and they look back, then it was sort of vilified for being NES hard. We didn't have that terminology when we were kids. Games are just hard, and you just got through them and finished them. But the Ninja Turtles game was pretty awesome. Lots of levels. All the turtles had different abilities with their weaponry. It was pretty cool. So that is a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, number 10 from Archie in 1990.